It's time to go full on economy, boys, and I'm going to show you how we went from 30 million GDP to 314 million GDP in just 30 years without even tryharding for that matter. That's a cool 3.41 national revenue. And for just 5,000 likes, we're going to do the next part of this Russia campaign where we turn our economic might into a world conquest. Now, boys, I want to give a little bit of an overview to the situation of Russia in 1861. We are currently in a small little war against the Ottoman Empire. Not to fear though, we're not destroying them, we're not being the bad guys, we're simply just liberating all of their subjects and making the world a better place. After all, that's exactly what we're used to doing, of course. We just make the world a better place. Economically speaking, we are on very low taxation and we are getting 487 national revenue. I'm actually going to do a few changes here. I'm going to cancel some of these taxations. I'm going to have instead an opium tax, and that's it. I'm going to use the extra 100 authority to just promote social mobility in another one of my high population states, because I've just been able to pass an education reform. Up until 4 years ago, we basically still had no education system. Now we have religious schools courtesy of the Orthodox Church, and eventually we're gonna gun for public schools once we manage to get rid of church and state, which prevents us right now from actually getting public schools. Having gotten laissez-faire about 10 years ago allowed us to completely fix our economy, and we more than doubled in GDP in just 10 years, which is wild. Why is that? Well, because first off, laissez-faire gives minus 25% loan interest rate, which alongside the minus 50% loan interest rate from the Great Power and the minus interest rate from the various technologies means we're basically paying nothing back in interest. Look at that. For $1 million credit, which is what we have right now, we're paying 1,000 interest, which is insane. Population-wise, we're standing at a cool 78 million with basically just the Russian lands, because we haven't really annexed much outside of the Russian holdings. We've gotten to Kazakh lands and that's pretty much it. Persia is our vassal. We're about to embark on the conquest of the Afghani areas, which we have yet to take, as well as we're going to be trying to split apart Qing. Surprisingly, they have yet to split apart, which it is what it is. We've consolidated all of our subjects and they're either dominions or puppets, and that includes, of course, Marina and most of South America, with the exception, of course, being Brazil and Uruguay, Paraguay, which I will eventually be making into subjects as well. Because of laissez-faire, we essentially privatized all of our industry. Every single building is owned by the private sector, and that allowed us to get about 40 million to the treasury, meaning we paid off all the credit that we had. So now we're trying to basically stay around the zero credit line, but it doesn't make much of a difference. We can go up to 76 million credit and we would pay like 20,000 maximum in interest, which is really not bad at all. For the time being, we got 420 sectors. We will double down on this as we progress, but for the first part of this part of the campaign, I want to consolidate my holdings. I want to start reforming the army, because I have actually not done much with my armies in quite some time. And I also do some more legislation changes. We went for landed voting because we had issues with the gentry assembly being too powerful, and they forced us to go to tenant farming. We had a movement which basically, if we didn't go for tenant farming and switch away from homesteading, we would have lost the freaking country. No way we could have gotten out of that war. And that was because the Gentry Assembly had way too much power. They're now significantly lower to 22%, which is actually acceptable, but we want to still make way for some other interest groups like the industrialists, like the intelligentsia, some of the more progressive groups we want to get in, so we can get a health system, change to public schools, go back to homesteading or commercialize agriculture at this point, I guess, go for professional army, and a few other legislations that we really want to have. Similarly, literacy is an issue. You can actually tell on the map the states which have the decree and those which do not. Look at that. The literacy in the states with the decree is huge. Tula, Kursk, Yaroslav, compared to everything else around, is just significantly wider, whilst everything is just not really educated very well. So yeah, promote social mobility. Best decree ever. I love you, social mobility. Please, we need more of that. Now, of course, it's not all peaches and dandelions because check it out. We've got 1.5 thousand tool shortage. We've got massive grain shortage, coal, steel, fish. So we're trying to make up for this. We're trying our best here to catch up with the shortages at the same time as build up a little bit of excess of base goods if possible to increase our standard of living. So in this part of the campaign, we're going to be increasing the standard of living, we're going to increase the economy, as well as consolidate our borders and take back Circassia, because I don't even know when it happened, but the British Empire made Circassia a dominion. So I have to have a massive world war against the British just to take these two rightfully ours lands, which is just mind-blowing to me. So that means we have to increase our armies and standardize our armies for that matter, upgrade them all to skirmishers, get shrapnel artillery to be on par with the British armies, which already have shrapnel, and also get a lot more mobile artillery and less lancers, I guess. We essentially want to have a standard of 50 infantry, 50 artillery as our main frontline armies, and then separate cavalry detachment with some infantry, which we'll use for naval invasions. Speaking of naval invasions, let me do one in Egypt to make this war against the Ottomans a little bit easier, shall we? Also, check it out. The culture map mode looks a little bit like this. Russian has started becoming the predominant culture around the Siberian holdings. We are currently getting 1.7 monthly population converted to Russian, and everything else is slowly decreasing. We cannot assimilate majority of our people because we do not have the right legislation. So right now, our legislation is national supremacy still. We need to go for racial segregation as soon as possible, or even better, cultural exclusion or multiculturalism would be ideal since we have so many different cultures. And oh my god, I cannot believe this shit has happened. Another revolt, courtesy of, again, the Gentry Assembly, of course. Well, actually, by changing that in government and by getting the armed forces with the petite bourgeoisie together, we averted the revolution. Okay, that's not bad because we really want to pass proportional taxation. We're going from landed taxation or land-based taxation, skipping per capita taxation, which right now would give us a lot more than proportional taxation would give us. We're switching over straight to proportional. Why is that? Even though proportional gives less taxes right now, the less revenue, the reality is that we're going to get more revenue from proportional as well as from graduated taxation as it stands, because we're getting those dividend taxes from these two particular taxation legislations, whilst per capita doesn't have any dividend taxes, and dividends is how we're going to get our money back from privatizing the industry. Dividends is paid by all the capitalists and all the people that own these buildings that we're privatizing. Our weekly innovation, of course, is a little bit of an issue too, because the cap is very, very small because of our literacy. We do have level 2 education level, and because of our advanced research, we have plus 10 max innovation cap from education level, which is why we're getting plus 20 max cap right now. So we're up to 112. Otherwise, we would be at 80 innovation cap, which is really, really, really low. Hey, we can get a second company. That's awesome. So we have the Russian Metal Guild. Let's go ahead and get something else that would help out with the industry. Maybe the Gold Consortium is not the worst idea, because if we get loyalists from standard of living as well as minting plus 5%, and gold mines will also give us company throughput plus 19.5, and we have a lot of gold mines. In fact, Russia has the highest amount of gold mines in this freaking campaign. Look how many gold mines we got, and we got even more right now in Buryatia and all these other places, which I haven't even built these yet. Let me bring those at the top of the queue, because that gold is quite literally just printing money for us. Oh, look at that. The naval invasion succeeded. They literally have no troops even defending that area, bruh. I just realized I probably should have taken the Sinai province from them in this war, because now I have to wait until the truce is over to take it, because Sinai is not Egyptian. It's Ottoman, actually. And did they do their... Oh my god, this is the first time I see the Ottomans do their Tanzimats, which is going to make it significantly harder for me to actually wipe them out now. Can you please just pass? 85% success chance. Please just pass, for Christ's sake. I need the money to increase my economy. Once we go to proportional taxation, we can probably get 600-700 construction without any issue. Portugal requests independence. From who? Who are you? Oh my god, the British freaking made these guys their puppet. Okay, yeah, Portugal needs to be free. I agree. Portugal is definitely in need of existence. Okay, Ural gold field depleted. That means that we have more gold possibly to be built in Ural. There you go, 4 more gold mines. I'll click that because we want to make sure we build all the gold mines. And the sneaky French also took advantage of my war, and they attacked them. Wait, what is that? Who is that? Wait, hold on a second. Is that who is attacking Tripoli? Is it me? Yeah, it's France. Okay, so France attacked the Ottomans too. Yep, they sure did. What do they want? Ban slavery, ban slavery. What a bunch of scumbags. Imagine. What are you even contributing to the world by doing that, France? Really now? Oh, I can feel the money flowing into my veins right now. Oh, I can feel it so badly. Guys, also, I saw a few of you saying that I shouldn't go for the Soviet Union and stay as a monarchy. I will try to stay as a monarchy. At least I will in this part of the campaign. I'm not making any promises for the late part of the campaign. Let's see how it goes and how I feel about it. I kind of want to go Council Republic because end of the day, it's fun because we're playing as Russia, but also it's really, really powerful in the late campaign. All right, we do have some support for professional army. I'm gonna gun for that, actually. It's about time we actually get a proper army going. For nor, the Ottoman Empire is falling, courtesy of multiple naval invasions and me having a significantly better army than they do. All right, even though that's done, we haven't really gained anything from this war. We really just made sure the world's a better place by liberating Moldova, Wallachia, Serbia, and Jabal Shamar. For strategic, we want to have that later reasons. Now that we're at peace, we're actually making money, so I'm going to be increasing my construction sectors. I probably should start building stuff in areas where there's a lot of unemployment, actually. And let's also do what I promised I'm going to do earlier. Let's make some standardized army, shall we? And one more tech, one more company. Hell yeah, I love that. Companies are the best thing in this game. I do like this. Combined Steel Corporation would help not only the steel mills, but also state construction efficiency. However, let's see what else we have available, because I also would like some more coal throughput and sulfur and fertilizer plants. So that's a really great one right there. Not gonna lie, I wish I had more companies right now. I wish I could have like 10 companies really. Okay, we can decrease the autonomy and turn Finland now into a puppet. The reason I did that instead of having them as a personal union is that I want to actually integrate them eventually, and if I don't do it soon, then the Swedes might attack them and I might not be able to join in the war against them, so that would be pretty bad. It happened in my last Russia campaign. I'd like to avoid that from happening. Oh no, the Ottoman have a revolution. It's almost as if the people don't agree with having banned slavery. I'm curious what's gonna happen after the revolution. Oh wait, it's a capitalist revolution. Ooh, we might actually see Turkey if these guys win. What are their domestic laws? Parliamentary Republic, we are 100% gonna see Turkey if these guys win. And whilst we're at it, let's go ahead and wipe out everybody in this area before the British do it. I'd like to be the one in charge of the Afghanis, so I can say that I won the great game. We went from 4 million credit to 0 in just a few years because we're building buildings really fast, so we can probably afford another 10 construction sectors. Let's go. What's happening now is we're making money from all those buildings there. We're really quickly finishing to build. We also check what kind of units Beijing has. They've got line infantry. Okay, so it should be a little bit of a challenge now, but not too much. I've got skirmishers in the day. They do have 416. We've got 321. Let's get a few more units, I guess, before we attack them again. Hey, look, guys, we got a wild turkey over here. Hopefully nobody shoots it and dismantles it and takes away all the oil-rich areas it has. Hopefully. Who's to say? Nobody knows what's going to happen. To be fair, the Ottomans have been extremely successful in this particular campaign. They've done a lot better than I expected them to, that's for sure. It's also high time that I start building my power block statue, and of course, because it offers minus 25% decree cost, I've only built it in the 9 states where we have a decree right now, so we get back some authority from these states, and I'm making that a priority because that's going to allow me to get even more promote social mobility decrees afterwards. So maybe I should build power block statues in the states which I'm going to have a decree afterwards that I know I'm gonna have. That's a smart idea, isn't it? We smarts, boys. We real smarts over here, okay? Pretty funny how we're gonna be the first ones to colonize the Pacific Islands too. So we are technically the greatest colonial power in our game. And we also are in need of more construction sectors. Holy mother, look at that. 2 million gold reserves from having sold off all the buildings that we built. And we just got professional army. So now we can focus on legislation that we really need. Like, let me see what actually we do need right now. Oh my god, restricted child labor! Who's supporting this? It's the trade unions, intelligentsia, and the armed forces. Oh, that is a weird combo, bro, because I cannot do this. I cannot. The only thing I can do is keep the armed forces in charge still for the time being. Gold discovered in Alaska. How good that we did not sell that off, isn't it? Now that we got restricted child labor, we can go up to level 4 with our education, which means we would get an extra 20 max innovation cap from our power block principle. So let's spam a few more government administration buildings to be able to advance our education level, shall we? As always, we're going to be spamming them in areas which have low taxation capacity, so we hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Essentially, we are committing animal abuse, I guess. Guys, I was actually wondering the other day, because I know that I'm going to do this campaign all the way to 1936, but the reality is that there's so many little things when you're doing these kind of campaigns that I cannot simply keep in the final edit, because it would just be a 15 hours video, right? So I was wondering if you guys want me to do a live stream as Russia or as any other nation from 1836 to 1936 in one take on YouTube. I was thinking to do one on YouTube so that I have that as my main video for anyone that's wondering how you get 1 billion GDP as this nation or that nation, how you scale in the first part of the campaign and the mid and the late part. I will direct you guys to some videos that I've got, but the reality is that a proper, probably 12 to 13 hour stream in which you can see every single click that I make and I explain why I make it, I feel like that might be the best option. Now, I want to see in the comment section quite a bit of support for that, because the reality is that would be a very significant stream for me, and I need to know that people would like to see it. So do make sure you let me know in the comment section, because like I've changed production methods around a lot, and I don't think I'm going to keep that in the final edit much, because, well, it's just honestly a lot of times that it's been done, right? So for example, what's the difference between me having the gold mines on condensed engine pumps, nitroglycerin, as well as railway transport? Well, it gives me more gold, so it basically gives me directly more income. Why do I not have that for the other ones here? Because I don't need that much of these particular resources. If I do need, then I go for nitroglycerin. The downside of that, as you guys probably know by now, is that you get more salary for the engineers, laborers, and machinists, basically the people that work in these mines, as well as you generate pollution. So it might not be necessarily worth it getting that extra lead when the cost of it is, you know, it's pretty significant. However, railway transport is actually not bad in most situations, but again, it generates pollution, and if you don't have that available transport, that can be an issue. Speaking of transport, let's go to our market again. We scroll all the way down, click on transport, and then we go here and we see which areas lack transport. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click Alt, hold Alt mouse button, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're doing this because these are in serious need of transport, and by getting this transport to these particular locations, we actually improve our economy so much. It's massive, honestly. Look at that. For example, here Vitebsk has 7 costs for transport compared to 52 in Pskov, because of the production and consumption differences here, where Vitebsk, because I had to build the transport there in order to get the infrastructure, but the transport itself is not required, right? So what I could do if I wanted to min-max, and I'm not going to do that because it takes way too long, okay? I'll be honest. But if I wanted to, changing between cargo prioritization or wooden passenger method makes a huge difference. So this one gives me more transport, whilst the cargo prioritization does not give me the transport, but it also decreases employment. So there's pros and cons to it. You would technically make around 100 pounds from switching to cargo prioritization in this particular province. All right, we are up to 146 max innovation cap now and increasing. We're going from mutual funds, which is going to significantly increase our economy. We get the loan interest rate reduction, but more importantly, we get 10% minting, and we're already making so much money from minting. Identification documents after, which is going to give taxation capacity flat plus 25, and civilizing mission, which is going to give minus 25% infamy generation when attacking unrecognized powers. And that's a big one because I've been intentionally not attacking anyone. I want my infamy to be as low as possible, because after we get civilizing mission, we can grab huge chunks of China and other parts of the uncivilized world, as they call it, right? Oh my god, look at all the authority we just managed to get. Oh my Schnitzeldorf. 325 authority from subjects as well as from law enforcement, which makes me realize I need to upgrade my law enforcement level to level 5. I kind of forgot to do that. I should have done that a while back. Also, I'm annexing the Baltic governorates simply because I don't want to have these puppets by the borders with Sweden, Prussia, and so on. I want to have the European holdings directly controlled by me, and I'm going to start incorporating these states afterwards too, to properly make the most out of them. And plus, they're not unrecognized nations, so the infamy reduction doesn't really affect these areas anyway. And now what are you thinking? Ludi, you could have just made a suitable offer for the Suez. Brother, we get a claim 1.9 infamy for this. I'm taking this, okay? I'm actually taking. Come on. And of course they freaking backed up because I actually wanted to take Iraq as well and liberate Bulgaria. Well, we got 4 years now of truce again. Also, we managed to accrue 3 mandate points. So whenever we want to change any one of our principles, we can directly switch to something else. So if I want to go from police coordination to food standardization, I just click on this submit and I instantly get level 3 food standardization and vice versa. I'm keeping the police coordination right now because it does give me some extra authority, 50 authority per level of law enforcement. So once we reach level 5, we're going to get 250 authority, which scales with all the percentage modifiers. So we actually get a frack ton of authority as consequence. Also, we're now up to 160 innovation and 47% literacy. So we're slowly but surely making our way towards actually being a proper civilized nation. We're going to need to research some military technologies now because we're going to have to go into big wars with the big boys such as the British Empire to take Circassia from them, which means we're going to need a breech loading artillery for the shrapnel, and I kind of think we're going to need military statistics too before anything else. All right, after we finish with the current legislation, I really want to go for racial segregation or cultural exclusion. Doesn't mean we get less authority, but we really need to start converting everybody to Russian because we only have 41 million Russians and it's very slow converting the Yakuts and everybody else here to Russian because they're not yet accepted culture. Also, of course, most of these areas, they have homelands of these particular people, and as you guys probably know already, if say Siberians considered this particular province their homeland, they will not get converted to our culture in that particular province. But when they migrate to other provinces, they do get converted. So that's the loop. Make them leave their homeland so we can convert them to Russian. That is genuinely exactly how the Russians managed to assimilate a lot of people. Like, no joke. That is basically it. About time we got some type of health insurance. And now we got public health insurance though. So that's a pretty big W since once we get this up to level 4, we're going to have a flat out +2 standard of living for our population, which is huge. We do need significantly more bureaucracy to make that happen though. 688 times 4, and I need about 400 extra. Aside from that, that's like 3,000. I'm not great with mathematics, but I assume around 3,000, so we're gonna have to get that. Now, I do want to get universal suffrage too. Problem is that it's gonna make my industrialists rebel, as well as the Gentry Assembly rebel. So maybe I'll try and go for census suffrage. I actually have a movement for both of them. And if we pass census suffrage, we will likely lower the power of the industrialists. So once their clout is lowered, it's going to be easier not to have the whole country up in flames whilst we pass legislation that gives more power to the trade unions and the other political parties or interest groups. Fingers crossed nobody's rebelling from that. We also have 25 infamy. We intentionally did not expand much so that we have enough low infamy for when we have finished researching, and we have finished researching civilizing mission, which means that now it's going to be significantly less infamy for taking Qing's land. Look at that, only 10.1 infamy for taking over South Manchuria, which has close to 10 million population. Look at the Beijing, 15 mil pop, also 10.1 infamy, which is insane. Now we can actually double down on that, and once we've gotten multilateral alliances, we get minus 25% infamy generation. So eventually that's gonna happen, but we'll make do with what we have, and we're gonna grab more parts of Qing to get more population and also get access to the resources in these areas. Especially Manchuria, with the more recent patches, has had some extra gold mines added to it, so that's pretty W right there. I also have a pretty significant shortage of paper, so I'm gonna be spamming a few paper mills. Kind of surprised to see that I've got that much of a shortage of paper. Also, I think it's time that we get some more construction sectors. I've also queued up steel frame buildings, but it's gonna take a while until we get that done, since we are still researching breech loaded artillery, and we also want to get the extra company from investment banking beforehand. Holy crap, man. 36 infamy to make the entirety of Japan our puppet. That is a no-brainer actually. But before I do make them the puppet, I do want to have my Qing War to properly consolidate into Asia. Empire of Japan is not going anywhere. Plus, it's going to be even cheaper later down the line to make them a puppet. And I'm also kind of thinking I might be able to add them to my power block. Let's see, minus 835. Well, Well, that's not gonna happen, so we will have to puppet them actually. GDP-wise, we are 50 million above Qing, and we're gonna significantly ramp that up after we have the war with Qing. Also, I'm thinking to liberate India from the British Empire, so I think I'm gonna do that when I'm gonna be attacking the British for Circassia, which is actually gonna be right after the Qing War. Gotta make sure that I get my armies in order before that happens. And since we got shrapnel artillery, that means first off, we gotta upgrade all of our troops to shrapnel. Also, just to point out, I know that taking Shaanxi or taking Hebei is a lot better than taking Shengjing, because Shengjing only has 3 million population, while Shaanxi has 16 million, as well as it has 116 coal mines, 96 iron mines, and so on. But by taking Shengjing, I get less border gore, okay? Because I don't want to have like this one province here and then I have one freaking Chinese province left over. No, I want to have pretty border. This game is all about having pretty borders, not about being efficient. You be quiet now, okay? I'm gonna take Shaanxi in the next war against Qing. Don't worry about it. All right, looks like they mostly have irregulars and line infantry. Oh my god, they just conscript. How many units they conscript? Okay, I'm assuming. Okay, they already conscripted 428. I'm assuming they're gonna be conscripting significantly more units than that. I don't really want to have any conscripts, but I might if it all goes south. Let's see. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Liberate China. Liberate. Yeah, I said it right. We're totally liberating these lands. Let me designate strategic liberation spot in Beijing. All right, looks like we're making massive progress very quickly into our strategic objectives. Cannot say I'm surprised when I've got literally double the offense compared to the Chinese defense. We're also doing a bit of a cheeky naval invasion in the south to distract them and maybe send some of their forces from the front line over into the south, making it even easier for us to win this war. And I did have to go on medium taxation for now, just so I don't completely collapse economically during this particular engagement. Look at that, 59-60 advantage. Oh my dude. Hey, we took all of Manchuria already. That's pretty cool. I'm curious to see how many units they got conscripted so far. 491. That's okay. It could be a lot worse. I've seen Qing conscript 2,000 units in some wars. Let's see what other new company we're gonna go for here. You probably guessed it. It's the New Russia company, because it gives us throughput and construction bonus for iron mines, coal mines, steel mills, and we get approval of the industrials and railway throughput as well, which is just an absolute no-brainer, really. Speaking of, let's do what I said I was gonna do earlier, which is expand my construction sector. You know, you got some massive balls when you're expanding construction sector when at war with a massive nation like Qing. Come on, naval invasion. We need to win this war quick. All right, we got all the war goals, so that means we're gonna slowly just wait for the ticking war score to win the war for us. Russia declared rivalry. Dude, I've been improving relations with you so much. Why would you do that? No, I love you, Prussia. Come on, bro. We're also Prussia. We're missing the P. That's it. We're also apparently missing a lot of basic stuff here, like groceries, fish, wood, grain. Okay, time for me to actually focus on that a while here. I haven't really been building any logging camps for quite some time. Kind of pepega, because, you know, Russia's the one nation in this game which has insane amounts of wood. Skibbity boo, skibbity bay, our population increased by 30 million. Yahey. See, that rhymed, so, cool people. Oh, come on! I forgot about Gansu. No. Oh, the border gore. Now Qing literally has a PP in my back. It is. Oh, no, it is literally a PP in my back. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. When is the truce finishing here? I gotta hold on to that PP in my back for 5 years. This is just horrible. Horrible. After getting massive chunks of lands like the ones we got in Qing, it's really vital that you update your production methods, because your needs are going to be completely different after a situation like that where you got some massive swathes of land with a lot of different populations like we got. Oh boy. Yeah, that is definitely a massive requirement for grain, that's for sure. And a lot of other... Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to just build stuff, man. I've been getting so much support for universal suffrage. 28 million people want to see this happen. While census suffrage, despite having a little bit of a political movement, it's just not going anywhere. It's actually not going anywhere. If this doesn't pass to drafting in the next tick, I'm just gonna cancel it and go for universal suffrage, honestly. Well, looks like Scandinavia started a diplomatic play to unify Scandinavia. Unify with Åland, Schleswig-Holstein, a lot of other areas here. So I'm not cool with that, which is why I'm going to be annexing Finland. It's only 13 infamy, and I want to do it because in my previous playthrough, if you guys have seen it, what happened was Finland actually was annexed by the Swedes without me even being able to defend against that particular invasion. So I'm not cool with that. I'm taking Finland before anybody else does. Okay, it's mine alone. And in case you're wondering, we are on very low taxes right now. Okay, luckily we annexed Finland before the Swedish managed to enforce their demands, because I would have been really freaking pissed with that, not gonna lie. But apparently Norway broke away from the Swedes. So now that we've annexed the Finns, next step is of course to skyrocket our economy. What we need in order to do that is, first off, a lot of steel mills and glass works, whatever they're called, because we're going to switch over to steel frame buildings, and we need a lot of those two particular goods in order to switch over. So let's go ahead and spam a lot of these wherever we make the most out of them, which apparently is going to be Kiev, and I think Tambov, simply because I have a lot of population I can make use of in Tambov. Now let's get, say, 2 unis in here as well. German leadership play. Finally! Oh my god, dude. I know it's not smart for me to support the Prussians, but wait, no, I cannot, because I'm allied to Austria-Hungary and I'm rival to Prussia. Oh, that sucks. Oh my god, that actually sucks. Totally not a Prussia boo, by the way. Totally not, guys. Alright, I guess we can support Austria and get war reparations or something. Send a couple of armies to make this war pretty quick. The Spanish also joined on our side. Literally Prussia against half of the world. That's not fair, man. I feel bad for the Prussians, but it is what it is, you know. It had to be done, really. Man, it really pains me to do this to them. It actually pains me. Can someone also explain to me why when I'm at war, I'm actually making more money than when I'm at peace? Like, it just makes no sense, brother. How? Someone explain the economy in this game to me, please. How are we profiting from war? We're not even playing as the Americans. Come on, man. Totally unrealistic. My day has been ruined. Thank you very much. Oh, we have less offense, they have defense. Okay. Looks to me like the Prussians might have better units than us then. I mean, even though we got worse troops than them, we're still somehow winning, man. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of manpower. Look at that. Their manpower is completely drained. They got no units left, whilst we're at maximum capacity here. Like, our troops barely lost any manpower, which is just honestly insane. This isn't even a proper fight right now, because they lost their manpower. It's literally just going like a knife through butter. There's nobody to fight. We killed all the Germans defending Germany. What is this? A repeat of World War II before it even happened? Paradox, please buff Prussia. Look at what's happening now. This is not realistic. How would Russia win against the Prussia? It's not realistic at all, okay? And we just got universal suffrage. So it's Jover for the aristocracy, because we're going to be murdering everybody. I mean, we're going to be becoming a democratic republic. A people's democratic republic, some would say. It looks like the German leadership is going to be going to Australia-Hungary. Would really suck if they formed Super Germany now. I hope that does not happen. Then I basically put a nail in front of my own path, didn't I? Or maybe I did it intentionally to have a villain for the later part of the campaign. He's setting up a game plan? Japan is offering to transfer the state of Sakhalin if we back him up against a revolt. Yeah. Yes. Of course. They're literally giving me the state I won without me even having to do anything for it. That's just wild. The British have yet to get trench infantry, so I'm going to be attacking Circassia. And by holding the war goal, which is Circassia, we're not going to go for anything else except for this. We should be able to easily win that war. And I'm also going to add liberation of British East India to this particular engagement, as well as the transfer of Punjab to us, because I was not fast enough and the British managed to get Punjab before I was able to get it. As expected, the scumbag Americans have joined the side of the British Empire, because of course they would. This is definitely the First World War happening right now in 1885. If we win this, we're gonna basically be complete rulers of the world. I mean, look at this. We're kicking some American asses right here, okay? We got the numbers, boys. We got more units together than the entire alliance set has, the enemy alliance set has. Again, if I go to medium taxation, we end up with a positive balance whilst at war with half the planet. I like the uniforms the Americans have. I wish we had some snazzy uniforms like that, actually. All right, we got Punjab as well. Beautiful. The really cool part about the British India Company is that the British India Company doesn't actually have that much manpower, since their primary culture is English, and as you would expect, there's not many English people actually living in India from which they can recruit. I mean, they do have racial segregation, so they can recruit people that are of European heritage. But again, not many Europeans living in India, because I let them throw their units at my armies whilst I was defending until they drained their manpower. So now I'm gonna push and just completely wipe out all of India in one fell swoop. There we go, there we go. They're already at -16 and they don't have their war goals, so we basically won the war. And there you have it, boys. The British Empire has given us Punjab, has liberated the East India Company, which now I suspect is going to be fracturing into small unrecognized nations, which we're going to be attacking afterwards, because that's just free for the taking. And we also, of course, took back the entirety of the Kuban region by annexing Circassia. It was a little bit of a long war, but it's not the end of the world. We actually managed to get 14 million gold reserves whilst being in the literally First World War of our particular campaign. Now that that's done, though, we have to consolidate our armies. We need to wait for our troops to get back to full manpower and strength before we do any more wars. We need to wipe out Herat because they actually destroyed Kandahar, my protectorate, whilst I was at war with the British. They basically took advantage of it, so I'm gonna have to fix that little situation there. Also, we've got some rebels in Africa that we need to deal with as well, and we've switched to a full dedicated steel frame production method for our buildings, which means we need a lot more glass works now. I've queued up some. I'm gonna queue up some more because glass is in extremely high demand for us. Well, I was wrong. Apparently Bengal, which appeared after East India broke away from the British Empire, is not an unrecognized nation. It's actually the 5th great power, and because their primary culture, Bengali, is a part of most of the Indian subcontinent, they've genuinely become my rival. They went from potential gobbledygook land to actual rival. Okay, the plot thickens. I like that. Very dreadful, but we were forced once more to pass migration control, or we would have had a revolution on our hands, so it's fine. It doesn't make that much of a difference. We do have 139 million pops, and we're gonna get even more after the truce is over with Qing. Actually, I think the truce is already over with Qing. Maybe it's time for me to attack them again and grab Zapipi land, as well as all of the northern bits here, which have pretty high population and really great provinces overall. Shangji, I've had my eye on for a while now. And again, in my previous runs, guys, they collapsed. It sucks. It's a little bit RNG. They did not collapse into small little fragments in this particular game, but it can happen. It's just not 100% of a thing, of course. I know I said earlier that it's probably impossible to add these guys to my power block without actually attacking them, but I'm kind of inclined to thinking that maybe I would peacefully be able to add them to the power block, because by getting all of these particular treaties and guaranteeing independence and everything else, we do get a lot of leverage. We get so much leverage, actually. So maybe, just so maybe, requested... Yeah, sure. I'll give you that. Hell, I'm even going to start funding lobbies in Japan to get them more friendly towards us. Unsurprisingly, we are also the best technological nation now. We've got 192 innovation cap, which is freaking huge. We got 68% literacy, up from like the 12 or 13% we started with, which is a big deal. And boys, the age of oil is here, because we need oil for vacuum packing. So we're gonna need to build all of the available oil rigs that we have. Right now, there's not too many, but the Russian Empire actually has the highest amount of oil potential in the campaign. So eventually, once we fully exploit all of these oil veins, we're gonna be the oil overlords, as I like to call it. I mean, look at that. We got how many queued up? Like 100 something queued up already, and we haven't even discovered all of the potential oil veins. What do we call them? Oil rigs, oil veins? I guess veins, right? This is the part of the campaign where we start to massively snowball. Like, we have almost 300 million GDP now, but in just 10 years, we're gonna go up to 600 million easily, because we're gonna start using oil, rubber, electricity, and we're gonna get such insane production out of these new production methods that it's gonna outscale everybody else. And to be fair, we already have outscaled everybody else, but it's gonna outscale everybody else even more. Oh my god, I didn't look at my treasure for a second. 42 million gold reserve. This is clear example of me not playing it well, because In a perfect world, I should have 0 gold reserves because I would be properly managing the amount of construction sectors I got, which is clearly not what I'm doing here. So I need to get more construction sectors. Time to also get regulatory bodies. This is one of the most underrated legislation, in my opinion. This offers minus 20% dangerous working conditions, and dangerous working conditions is the #1 leading cause of death in Victoria 3. So we're not exactly, but almost lowering our mortality by 20% from getting workplace safety office. And I think I'm going to also start attacking Qing now. 39 infamy is fine. Yeah, let's go with this war. Wait, why cannot attack them? Do I still have the truce with them? I got hostile relations too. Oh, there's a diplomatic play with okay, fair enough. I didn't even realize I'm in a diplomatic play right now. Of course, yes, of course. I clearly need to fix this. We have become the world's first great power. We've crushed the British, liberated India, and established Russia as the ultimate superpower in our particular game. If you guys want to see this continued, you know what you need to do. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.